That was a good rest. Click. Click. There we go. Alright, so we are now in the Castle of Pales, which is the, like, holy place, holy capital of Akania, which is like the Holy Kingdom. This whole thing spends most of its time just explaining the backstory and saying nothing about the chapter itself, but that's totally fine, because aside from one particularly creative idea, there isn't much to say about the chapter. But, yeah, it says something about Akania also helping a bunch of other kingdoms get their own, like, country or whatever, but it's really vague about it, and it's kind of just like, well, could you expand on that thought, please? It's hard to tell what the fuck they're talking about. Though, maybe I just missed something important. But I've reread that dialogue several times and I still don't understand some of the stuff it's talking about. Anyway, let's talk about the main thing that I like about this chapter, alright? The people who are in that prison are Medea, Boa, and who the fuck cares? The trio. But yeah, this is a very interesting setup. You got two archers to the right, and you got a mage to the left. Now, no matter where you move these units, you're gonna, like, they're gonna take hits no matter what. So, it's a little puzzle where you have to figure out the way to reduce your damage as much as possible. The ideal strategy is to place Boa to the left and the two knights all the way to the right, while Medea and the archer just stand in the only two safe spots. I'm very surprised that Fire Emblem never really tries an idea like this again. I mean, it's flirted with the concepts. In FE6, for example, you have Lilina stuck in a cage, well, in a prison, and there's an archer that you need to avoid. But all it takes is for you to move her to the upper right, and that's it. But yeah, really interesting idea. Now, it's worth noting that even with this optimal positioning, they're not gonna last forever. You still need to rush to them, and fast. So it's like, it's two things. You gotta race to those dudes, and you have to position them right. It's you know, that shit like that really makes me wonder, like, if this game had more polish, what would the potential be? Like, what would it have been? I guess I'll have to play FE12 to find out. Aside from that, the other big problem with this chapter, well, like, the main challenge of this chapter, is that I am really going out of my way to train Linda. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teleport Linda all the way into the chest room so that she can kill the general, kill the sniper, and the two thieves that come into that room. With Marth and Navarre, you can in fact catch up to those thieves and kill them before they take any chests, but I want to get Linda some experience. Now, the main thing is that Linda does not have enough speed to double that general on the offset, and she also doesn't have enough power. So I had to use the power ring from the previous chapter, which I was going to use anyway, and on top of that, Linda needs to kill one of the thieves at the beginning so that she can get a level up and gain 1 point of speed. Thankfully she has a 60% chance of this happening, but if she doesn't, then there's nothing you can do about that general. The guy's just gonna kill her in one hit, and, you know, that pretty much puts a damper on my plan. So a good number of my resets were because of that. Now, the other big reset problem is the goddamn sniper, which is pretty typical of this game, because every damn sniper has been a problem. Every single one. But yes. The problem with the sniper is that no matter what, Linda cannot kill him in a single round of combat. And even with, like, maximum speed, she can't double the dude. She needs to hit twice with aura, or have somebody else weaken him. The thing is that if Linda gets hit once, I have to heal her because she doesn't have enough health to survive a second hit. Now, I could have her let the sniper attack her on enemy phase. That'll leave the guy with just low enough health for her to kill him. But the problem is that sniper is actually pretty dodgy. he has occasionally dodged my Linda and just completely just killed her outright. It's really fucked up. So that's 2 factors of luck that are coming into this equation, just for the sake of making Linda able to kick the shit out of as many things as possible while also making things go smoothly. Now, something that concerned me in this run... Oh, yeah, I killed the dude. But anyway, something that concerned me in this run is that one of the chests has 10,000 gold. And I believe that if a thief catches that, you cannot obtain it from them because it doesn't go in their go into their inventory. And when he walked over some of the chests and I checked Linda's inventory, I thought she was missing an item and I assumed it was the gold. So I actually considered restarting for a bit. That's why I checked the status screen there to see if I had more money. But thing is that I never checked my money before, so I didn't know the exact amount I had in the first place. But yeah, after a while I realized, wait a minute, I probably do have all of the money. Like, I used like deductive reasoning, and of course Julian just got the money right there, so everything was fine and dandy. So the mages in this chapter that I just killed, they're kind of weird. They'll walk into that area, and then once they reach that spot, they'll just start walking around randomly. I'm not sure what the hell was going on there. But anyway, the chests have an Orion's Bolt, a Silver Sword, a Manual, and 10,000 gold. There's also another chest at the bottom right, which has boots, which are going straight to Marth. Because, goddamn, that's gonna lower the tedium much. Let me just say, much. So here's another fun fact, is that while I do go out of the way to kill all the enemies up in the prison area, I don't actually release Medea and her friends. And that's because even if you don't open that door, they will still join you in the next chapter. All you need to do is make sure they survive. Now, as for this dragon, he's relatively easy so long as you have a dragon killer. But I'd like to point out a little fun fact. Bantu... well, firstly, dragons ignore your defenses. Now, there is an exception to this, and that is if you use your own dragon, in this case, Bantu. In that case, for some reason, the game does factor in your defenses there. I guess it's like they understand each other or some shit like that. I don't know. But anyway, there we go. We got the goddess icon. That's another thing that was in the chest. I forgot to mention that. This game kind of tosses those things out like candy. So yeah, Bantu's actually going to weaken this sniper because I am just having way too much trouble fighting him with Linda. And, like, from this point, I'm a little scared to go for a finishing blow because usually Linda's at too low health and can't be healed back to full to guarantee that she'll survive a round. And as I mentioned, that guy's dodgy, so I just kind of play it safe here until eventually I just say, fuck it, and just go straight for the gold. And thankfully, things did work out. Let's see, what else is in here? What else have I not mentioned? Obviously, I mentioned the sniper. I mentioned the thieves. I'd like to point out that this chapter is going to be used in Book 2 of this game. And it's pretty cool because it doesn't just recycle everything. The whole map is kind of recontextualized. The structure's still the same, but you fight different enemies and you fight a particular boss that's of note. So this chapter actually becomes pretty important in Book 2. Let's see, what else? I have a whole bunch of shit that I have to mention, so... let's talk about George. George is a really good archer in this game. He's probably the best archer. The problem I'm noticing in this game is that even though I said a bunch of really nice things about archers, I find it's very difficult to still utilize them. And I think it's because archers simply don't get enough, like, hits in. They get one attack on player phase. On enemy phase, any enemy that attacks them will attack them up close, which prevents them from gaining experience. And that just makes it really hard for archers to catch up with the rest of your cast. Another problem is that Kashim does not have a lot of speed. Most of his stats go into strength, and it's just like... he doesn't do much else. And that's really... I mean, aside from that, though, I find that mages are just generally superior to archers for most situations. Even for killing wyverns, it's like, well, I have Merrick, he has a move that kills them in one hit, why would I bother using archers? So, I guess everything I said about archers before and them being cool just doesn't hold as much weight as I thought, which sucks. So I bring Marth over to this area to get the final chest. These soldiers are the toughest soldiers you'll ever fight in any Fire Emblem game, because they all have silver lances. Most of your units do not have the durability stats to withstand these guys. So I actually had to bring Marth over here because he's my most durable unit. And then from there I kind of just let things go. But yeah, once you open that door to the soldiers, you are immediately in the range of 2 of them. And soldiers are kind of weak. They'll die very easily, but they still do a lot of damage. So once you kill, you'll end up killing one on enemy phase, and that'll open up room for another one to show up and just kill you. It's pretty shitty. Alright, so I talked about George. Something else I learned in this chapter is, you notice that chest that is right near the door? Thieves can act again after they've opened a door or chest. And there was one run of this chapter where I realized that I could open the door and the chest at the same time, on the same turn. Let's see. I think that's more or less everything I have to say. Nina gives us the bow Parthia. It's one of the 3 legendary weapons, and I just want to take a moment to talk about those. Legendary weapons are pretty fucking cool. They double your experience. Unfortunately, since this is a bow, that means that we're not going to get much experience in the first place.